Up, 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 up. And you change
Hooray!
sizes again. Classic John.
Oh wait, do I
Oh,
push? Which direction is it?
oh, there we go. Got it. Got it. Got it.
There.
Perfect.
Cool.
Perfect. Good teamwork.
Hooray!
Good teamwork.
It is. It is exciting.
I'm gonna move you over. How you doing,
So
buddy? Good to see you.
I'm doing good. Yeah, midweek. This is different. Normally Tuesdays. Now we're on the Wednesday. It's good.
I know.
Um,
I had to go into the office yesterday. I'm sorry. I'm
no,
sorry.
I like it. I like it. It's fun today. Yeah, it's. I'm settling into. I don't have any travel for a bit, so I'm just doing the summer routine thing, getting stuff done.
Yeah. I think I'm the reverse. It's about to start up, basically. I mean,
Uh,
got the wedding upcoming. After that, it's just non-stop September, October, November. It's just ridiculous.
yeah, yeah. We got .NET Conf coming up, so
Oh,
I'm excited about that. Been
yeah.
working on some stuff there.
Yeah, I'm super excited for it. I mean, every time that I'm in a call on it, things are happening. They have all the live events, so that should be
Hmm.
awesome. But I just got to prepare for it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Just when you think you're off for the summer, September comes and boom, .NET Conf in
I
your face.
know. So it's already almost August. So boom.
Literally one day away. I can't believe it. So, what are you gonna do?
Yep, yep.
Hey, Luce. Hey, Copper. How's it going? Welcome, everyone, to the chat. This is my good friend, Jon Galloway. You may know him from being Jon Galloway. I don't actually. How did you get so famous? I think I've asked you before.
I don't know. Some of it was I was like doing the .NET blogging thing early on, and then I was, work with I don't know. I was I was early on Stack Overflow and early on Twitter. Been around early. I wrote some books, and a thing that surprised me was MVAs doing the Microsoft Virtual Academy. I thought they were cool, but I didn't realize how many people around the world were watching them. And then since I would travel and people be, I recognize you, and I'd be like, was it from this or this or that? And said, no, it was your MVA. That was it. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
MVAs, they change lives. I mean, I have early stories on. I recommended a lot of MVAs around C Sharp. Mr. Bob
Yeah,
Tabor, just saying, changing lives, Bob Tabor. So,
yeah.
yeah, so it's fun when you talk to people like, oh yeah, like this Bob guy or this John guy, like, well, that changed my career or whatever. So, I wish I had gotten. See, I think because I wasn't into the web, that's what happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was really big into the web stuff early on. I really liked, and I still do. I think that there's some really beautiful things about the way like HTML and CSS, JavaScript. Like a lot of it is like this crazy accidents, but it's like kept running for 20 years, and it's like it was actually pretty. Some of the areas that they left open and loose, like really allowed for it to keep going over time, whereas a lot of the technology choices we build on are like only around for a few years and then we throw them out and build something new.
yeah.
So
It is. It's crazy to think about. I mean, especially, I mean, you know, there's a lot of WinForms apps still being created. Just saying, they're pretty popular still, and a lot of WPF. WPF's been around for like what 15 years or something like that now, and it's
yeah,
crazy. So,
yep, you're right.
yeah.
Yep. So some good stuff.
Yeah, I even think about my Xamarin work. Right, it's like I've been doing Xamarin development for 9 years this fall. 9 years.
Wow.
That's the longest I've done anything in life. I think, yeah. So it's kind of crazy to think about, but yeah, it's funny. I mean, look at this, 55,000. You're a bona fide uh, uh, influencer, John.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
Got
I
that
should be like
influencer money.
something should be happening there. I'm not rolling in influencer money. Maybe I should be.
Mistake. Yes,
Yeah.
and Luce has spotted it. I'm not drinking coffee. I'm drinking some local Seattle kombucha. I had a lot of meetings this morning, John. A lot of customer meetings, and I needed 18 gallons of coffee. And then
Same.
at some point, I was like, I'm good until later today, and then I'll have go and get a fancy coffee.
I would. I think Phil Hack. I'm guessing.
I've
Phil and
heard
I
heard
were.
of him. Heard of him.
Yeah. So we worked together a long time ago, like 10 years ago, and then I worked with him when he was at Microsoft. He helped with the launch of ASP.NET MVC and stuff. So anyhow, he's on the board of directors at .NET Foundation, and today is the last day of the month. We're sending out the July update, and so I've been working with him on getting that publish workflow. So it's not a John production; it's a team production, and other people can do it and stuff. So
I like
Phil's great
that.
to with too. Phil's a lot of fun to work with, and he also like spots, hey, you could do it this way, and it would be better. And it's like, whoa, great idea. Yeah.
I like when people come in, they're like, oh, have you thought about it this way? Like
Right.
that's a
Exactly.
nice thing of doing a lot of like how we try to, when I think about putting a meeting together, for instance, you want a very diverse and inclusive audience. If you put the same people in the same meeting nonstop, you don't get to really break outside that bubble. So
Yeah, that's a whole thing rant I've got is that teams tend to hire people that are like them because it's easy. But you really do want a diverse team. And if you think of like a sports team, and here I would show my sports ignorance because I don't really remember much sports stuff, but it's like you don't want all a bunch of the same position. You don't want 9 quarterbacks or 9, guards or whatever. You want like a diverse team, and it just makes sense, right? And
yeah,
so, and like on a software team, you want the varied people. Like you want people who are going to be like out there trying new stuff, pushing the boundaries, and you also want the people that are like, wait a minute, how are we going to maintain this? And then you know what I mean? And you want people that are like, in between. You want like all, and then somebody that's going to be like, hey, wait a minute, did you think that this could be offensive to these people? And it's like, yikes, I didn't think that, and thank you for pointing it. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
it really is like a good team builds better stuff faster.
yeah. We at Microsoft, people might not know. Oh, Twilio's rating us. Whoa, welcome people from
Uh,
Twilio. Got that raid. Whoa. Welcome everyone from. That's cool,
oh,
Twilio. I like the.
that's exciting.
I like the Twilio. Man, I was literally just talking about Twilio this morning because we were doing .NET Conf last year, and Twilio
Mhm.
was a sponsor, and we had all this great Twilio swag. And in fact, check this out. I You need some Twilio stickers? I got your Twilio stickers. Boom. All day
Ah,
Twilio stickers. You need a Twilio sticker? Who needs a Twilio sticker? You got Twilio stickers.
just throw them out.
It's raining Twilio stickers. I have like .NET Conf 2018 sticker, Legacy,
Mhm.
Legacy.
I got one of
Um,
those.
they're good. I have a lot of them. I got all these stickers. So if you need a 2018 comp, boom, you're good. .NET Bot stickers for days, like a smorgasbord. Come on,
Yeah.
I don't, Scott. Look at
Oh,
this. Look at this guy. John can't even find his sticker swag. There
that's
you
a
go.
good one.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. Got a lot. Yeah.
Well, we just started, so people from Twilio, thank you so much for joining. We've been building a
Yeah. Yeah.
brand new website. You want to tell people about it, John?
Yeah, so the deal is we do these .NET community stand-ups. We've been doing it. We started with the ASP.NET one, and it was with the ASP.NET team. We had Damian Edwards, Scott Hanselman, and we do them every Tuesday. And then we've recently expanded, and we do them on Thursdays as well. So Tuesday, Thursday every week. And these are like, they're live. The idea is it's community. We show off community links and stuff people are building, and then we just kind of take live Q&A, show off demos. Sometimes it's, hey, here's a crazy idea we're working on, what do you think? um, so so we've been doing those on YouTube and then Twitch, and we've had a website for the ASP.NET side, and kind of what we want to do is have on the .NET site dot.net, and then it puts you on a Microsoft dot something dot whatever. But we want there to be like one central place where you can find what are the next, .NET stand-ups, and how do I join live, and how do I, like all that stuff. So we're building it.
Yeah, we basically crushed the entire website, I would say, and we have the countdown. We were able to leverage some of the code from there, but we were using YouTube's new API backend. So we're using the YouTube for .NET SDK, which is really cool. There is one. Figured
Yeah.
out a lot of challenges there, and
We
now
we,
go
we
ahead.
also we've moved over. So the previous,
Mm.
like, there was a website for the ASP.NET community stand-up, and it had like an admin backend where you would say, here's the next show and here's the YouTube link for it.
Oh
And
yeah,
we've moved over to using the YouTube event scheduling stuff. So that's kind of cool too.
Yeah, so now we no longer actually have to go in manually and sort of do anything. We want it all to be automated 100%. Like all I don't want to have to, if I'm out of town, John's out of town,
Yeah,
I don't want to have to do anything. That's my
yeah,
my plan of
it's a
action.
dream.
That's the dream. All right, well, what are we doing today, John?
So I've got the board shared here, our project board. And from looking at this, I think our main kind of next steps were we wanted to move over to Azure Functions. So we
Mm,
built everything. Yeah, we built everything in an ASP.NET website. And it's all, it's all controllers and services and stuff. We did that on purpose because it's very quick feedback loop, easy to test stuff out and write the code. But now the way we're actually building this to transfer over is we're just going to make the functions and an API available, and we're going to turn it over to the team that actually writes the production code for the .NET site,
yes.
and they're gonna consume our functions and stuff.
Yes.
So you were telling me that you've already been doing. I've got kind of my way of doing stuff, but I a lot of time just do kind of in the browser, like write up some quick functions there. It's probably better if we actually like build out like .NET compiled code and deploy it that way, right? So you can deploy either as compiled, um, like an application, or you can just script it in the browser.
Yeah, because the reason that we want to do this is that we want to, like you said, reuse the logic. And
Hmm.
if we just put it in the website, then we could create a REST API for it, but then people will be hitting that API nonstop. We really just want the Azure function to take care of everything, to handle it all
Yeah.
for us. So yeah.
Well, and there are two models for building Azure functions, and one
Wow.
is that you can actually there's a text box in the Azure portal, and
Yep.
you can just write. You can write all kinds of different languages. There's Node and there's .NET or two that I've worked with, but you just write .NET code in the browser, which has actually worked pretty great for a lot of stuff I'm doing.
Yeah.
But then there's also the model where you develop in Visual Studio, and your code is like it's more of like a project, and you do CI deployment and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's the one that we want to do, because that way our code is checked in, people can contribute. So I recently did this for Hanselman Forms. So I like to consider myself essentially a Azure Function Pro. Azure Functions Pro. Basically,
I'm double checking your work here.
okay. Double check it.
So here's the Hanselman Forms, but this isn't the one.
That's it. Yeah. Now VNext is there, so it's in source.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Someone was like, "Oh, I can't find your new source code," so I changed the default to be VNext for now.
Got
Yeah.
it.
Functions. Boom.
So should I clone this or just click around in here, or what do we think?
Look at the best one to look at is probably probably the going to triggers. So the entire idea of an Azure function is that there's triggers, and I call them triggers, but they're functions for all intents and purposes. But they're a function that get triggered by something. So if you go into, let's say, the Twitter function. So inside of here, like what you can do is you have these functions, and I call them the triggers because they're going to be triggered by something. So this first one here, there's always ins and outs. So this first one has an HTTP trigger, and then same thing with the other one. There's actually an HTTP trigger on that. And then you have these ins and outs. So the first one is super duper simple. If you actually look at line 25 or whatever, this is a function with a function name of get tweets. And you can think of this as an HTTP trigger that's a get. So it's like a RESTful API that gets created. Now, the cool part here is that we don't have to have a web server running. This is the real advantage of it. So this is a function that'll be executed on demand. Now, what I do is I query Twitter whenever Hanselman tweets something, and I store that to a blob storage JSON file. That's kind of what I do. Because originally I was like, oh, every time someone hits this, let me query the Twitter API. But that's bad, because what if 5 billion people query it or run out of tokens? And also, he doesn't tweet that much, so I could just do that on demand. So what I'm doing here is I have this blob. So Azure Blob Storage, you can specify read or write. So you can think of it as the trigger is an HTTP trigger, and then the blob it will automatically be taken in to the function, which is cool, right?
Yeah.
And that lives in Hanselman/Twitter.json.
Got it. Yep. So this is to access, you're reading.
Yep.
And then this is to write, and you're writing, file access, write.
Yep.
Yeah. And this is, like this is huge. Like you said, the whole thing about like, you just pay for what you use. You just have these really light functions. They just respond to things. I've done stuff that runs on a timer, but I've also, the .NET Foundation website has a search thing that indexes, it works with Azure Search, and it indexes all the projects. And it's built from Markdown from all the different repos. And there's like a JSON file that has that's up on GitHub. So what we did is we set up a trigger. I work with Anthony Chu. He wrote it all, and I just kind of integrate it and deployed some. But it uses GitHub webhooks. So whenever anyone updates certain files on GitHub, then GitHub webhooks ping our function. The function runs, does everything, rebuilds the JSON file, and then that pings then the website. It just automatically works.
Yeah,
that's all.
So I do something similar. So I originally, I live stream all this on Friday when I was building this. I originally had that one not being the Twitter update. That one was originally a timer trigger. I just said, hey, every 5 minutes, every 10 minutes, go check for new tweets. And then I was introduced to Logic Apps. You know about Logic Apps?
I do know about Logic Apps. They're pretty cool.
They're so underappreciated and underutilized and under talked about, because they're so cool. Logic Apps are so cool. They're kind of like if this then do that, but with decisions in it. Now, I totally used it as a if this then that. And I could have, but the Logic App was nice because I could do more in the future. So what I did is I would say anytime you have a connector, and I would connect to Twitter, I would say anytime there's a tweet that occurs, go run this Azure function. And then I can pass data to it too, which is really cool. So I have other ones, which is a Logic App that monitors like all of his podcasts and all of Channel 9 feeds. And then what I do is I say, okay, whenever one of these 5 RSS feeds change, ping this Azure function and pass it the ID. So it's like smart functions, right? It's passing data, which is really cool.
So you get kind of the, like, for that case where you're working with APIs that have like kind of defined things and you can just plug them together and you don't need to write any plumbing, that's great. Then you can drop into functions when you need to write these tight little things that actually run your custom code.
Yeah. And then you can do more things too. So I could say, if it's a tweet, and then I could say if that tweet was a retweet and it contains an image, then call this function, else call this other function. So there's actually this branching logic that could occur, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, I actually worked when they kind of were first introduced early on. I worked on some of the build demos showing that off. And that was really fun, these Logic Apps. We had something set up, and I think it was we had a store that did 3D printing. And the whole thing was like it ran this whole workflow when an order came in, and it did notifications and all this stuff. And then I also worked one time, previous job at Microsoft, went over, I was in Russia for a bit at a hackathon in Moscow, and we helped some companies solve some real world business problems using Azure, and functions and Logic Apps were like 90% of it. It was so great. And people would have these really complicated, and they're like, well, we don't know what we can get done, but we need to run these reports every day, and they have to do all this stuff. And we're like, boom, Logic App, boom, this, and like we would finish these things that they thought we would maybe get started on. We get them done in like one day, and we're like, what else you got?
Yeah, they're so cool. Yeah, so Copper here, Copperbeardy says he was playing around with them last week during Microsoft Learn course. Says they're super cool, and he was surprised how simple they were just to set up the workflow. And you're right, it's this drag and drop UI. And I was inspired to get into it because I saw my coworker Mike James, who I'd worked with for a long time, was talking about how he used Logic Apps to schedule push notifications to mobile apps with App Center. So he was basically able to set up Logic Apps to listen to other things when they change, call the API for App Center directly from the Logic App with no code. It's just like boom, good.
Yeah.
So
one other kind of related thing I've been using lately is Microsoft Flow.
Ooh, yeah.
And that's kind of more what we're doing here is more kind of custom code running on a server, Azure, and all that. But Flow's been great. We get things like people will fill in a form to apply to join the .NET Foundation, and then
Mm.
that goes. So we want to do a few things. One is I copy that into a different spreadsheet that can be shared with a team for review. And then we also want to send them an email right away. And I want to get an email. And so like we've got all that hooked up with Flow. And it's pretty cool. And you can even do things like I send out these HTML formatted emails so they look all pretty and have the
Oh yeah.
logos in them and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah. It is interesting because they're similar but different products. So yeah, one
Mhm.
is called Microsoft Flow. Yeah, Microsoft Azure Logic Apps,
Mhm.
and there's Microsoft Flow. Yeah, they're I guess they are similar but yet different.
Yeah. Yeah, one solves more like a business automation kind of thing. I'm bringing mine up real quick. So Microsoft Flow is more kind of like think about like automating stuff like SharePoint and emails and
Mm-hmm.
like document management. So it's more kind of the information management kind of stuff. And then I mean Logic Apps kind of can do that, but you think of Logic Apps as more running on an Azure service, that you're going to be running.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel like, hey, if you've just got something that's like business automation stuff that is all kind of running in Azure and stuff, then Flow's nice for that.
Yeah, and I think there's like B2B scenarios that happen, and yeah, then
Yeah,
Logic Apps serve a similar yet different purpose, but they have a very similar UI. They might be powered by like the same
I wouldn't be
guys.
surprised.
I mean, this looks very similar.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So this is a simple one here: action group volunteer. But I want to show the other one. Let me see if I go in. I'm sorry to go off
No,
on
you're
it.
good.
I've been having a lot of fun with these. So when I think this one here, people apply to join,
Then I'm going to show
and
you
this
mine.
actually,
I'm going to show you mine when you're done.
yeah. So this is this whole when people apply to join .NET Foundation, it goes into. So we're using a Microsoft form there. Microsoft forms are neat, but there isn't an API or a way to access the information in it. So I actually have it do two things. One is it copies the data into another spreadsheet that's in a SharePoint. And then I also have it send an email. And then the email, like this took some hacking around to do, but this
Yeah.
is all, it's HTML, CSS. Is also getting HTML and CSS to work in email clients is not easy, but you'll see here we've got the form field names,
Cool.
so it's like merging in the stuff. So
Yeah. Check this out. Let
yeah,
me go to my screen over here.
yep,
There you go. So now I'm over here, and I'm inside my Hanselman Logic app. So this is literally what I was talking about, and they must be powered by similar engines then.
mm-hmm.
So like I have this Twitter connector that says when Hanselman tweets, check every 5 minutes for it. When that happens, then update this, call this Twitter thing, and then I can even pass it all these parameters, the name, the info. So if I wanted to, I could pass the Azure function like all the things to store into the database technically. Like I wouldn't even have
Right.
to call the Twitter API because it would have all this information about it because I've linked it with my Twitter account.
Mm-hmm.
And I have different ones that are all doing different things. So it's all super duper. Yeah, there's like all these connectors that you have and functions and timers and HTTP triggers, but they're super fun. So I think they're very similar flows, I would say. But then you can do like a new step, and then you can, you do a bunch of things inside of here and have some logic inside of it and decide when things happen. So here I can
Yeah.
say, add a parallel branch and then do these multiple things. But I think the nice thing is that you can also associate a logic app, I think, with an Azure function. So you kind of like blend those two together. And then, yeah, there is a script behind. Code was asking. So there's a script. So it's almost like a JSON definition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big JSON blob, and you can use that to like you can check it in somewhere and stuff. But I feel like these are kind of plugging like really standard things together where there's no value in having to maintain code. And these things also you can share with other people and they can help maintain them and stuff.
Yeah.
And then you write your code for stuff that's like specific for what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
All right, let's go back to your computer. Boom. So do you
all
want to create
right.
an Azure function?
Sure, I do. All right. So, do you recommend I do that within our application?
Do it.
All right. So
Oh
I
no,
don't know.
you create a new, yeah, not inside the web app, but inside a new live stand-up.functions probably.
Yeah. So inside the solution itself, right?
Yeah.
All right. So let's do this. And as always, when I'm sharing my screen, sometimes my computer goes slow to embarrass me.
Look
All right. So add
at that.
new project. And I've installed the functions. I hope I've installed all the right stuff, the functions things, right? So if I go like function,
Computer slow. Need a new computer, John.
I guess so. It's seriously like right as soon as I start sharing my desktop,
Do you
because,
have Teams closed? Everything else?
I may have Teams running.
Or let's put on secret screen so people, that way in case you open up things that you don't mean to.
Oh, yeah.
Close all those browsers. Yep, I see Teams on your screen. Close that puppy.
Quit, get
Get
out
out
of
of
here.
here.
Teams is funny because it's like pretends to quit, but it didn't really quit. Yeah, what else can I close?
Dropbox. Pause that OneDrive.
I don't have Dropbox. Yeah, I do need to pause my OneDrive. And you're right. That is nice that you can pause those.
Yeah, I do. Pause it.
Although I have 3 OneDrives, and so it would be nice if I could like to pause all.
Yeah.
Pause you. Sorry. One more pause.
Close
On top of,
your Opera browser, your Firefox browser, close your Edge browser, I know you got all the browsers open.
I got
Close
so
your
many
code,
browsers.
close your
I can't close all my browsers. My computer would. Okay, so I'm pausing one more OneDrive, and then I think by then that'll give it time for it to. Okay, good. All right, let's see what happens.
It happens.
All right, functions. Boom.
Boom.
So next.
I'll tell you, honestly, I think it's a combination of like webcam plus screen sharing.
It
I was
really
even on
is.
a call earlier. It does it. There we go. That looks better. That looks better.
Live stand up dot functions.
Yeah. Why not?
Okay.
Boom.
Yeah, the Azure tools are really good inside. I mean, of course, you can do all this stuff. Like there are many ways to automate and do all this stuff, but the tooling in Visual Studio is pretty darn good. So yeah. So how do you want to set this up here?
So this is that trigger thing that I was talking about, and this is what we can use to call. So I would go with HTTP trigger because that's like the kind of default I like to use.
Yep. And then do we want to use storage emulator?
Yep, that's fine. That's all good to me.
All right. So I think I can just say create.
Yep.
Cool.
And what's cool about the function too, the HTTP trigger, is you can make it anonymous so anybody can call it. You can make it so like authorized people can only call it, kind of like ASP.NET, right? You can have the authority level on it.
Yep.
Go from there. Yeah, there you go. Perfect.
Function 1.
You did
That's
it.
my favorite name for a function. Okay, so we should talk about what do we want to key on here. Do we want to run? So this is, and some of this will depend on what the APIs support, right? I don't know if we can do push style where whenever YouTube, updates stuff, or.
Great question. So I think that we can get an RSS feed for a YouTube playlist.
Okay. And so for that case, would we be doing it on an HTTP trigger or a time trigger?
I think what we would do is on an HTTP trigger, and what we would do is do like a logic app basically and say whenever this RSS feed changes, call this HTTP trigger.
Okay.
To refresh the data.
Sounds good.
And I have found a Stack Overflow post from 2015 that tells me that there is a way to do this with the XML. So
okay. So should I change my function here to be like YouTube
functions?
Okay.
Live stand-up functions.
It's doing some crazy stuff. Live stand. Okay. And then this would be YouTube feed.
Yeah, that's gonna be the name that that's the actual name. Okay, so there's two things that are happening here. So this function name here is what would be exposed in the backend, right? So it's kind of like a description of what it is. So mine was like get tweets, mine was whatever. So we're
Okay,
probably gonna have
get shows.
yeah, we're probably gonna have two. One is gonna be a get shows and one will be update shows, I think.
Let's go with that. Okay, so we'll do get shows and update shows.
Yep.
So this one is a get, which is fine. Wait, why does it say get and post? What are my auth level? So I'm curious what these parameters are.
Yeah, so by default here, what this does, if you let's just say you just run, add a breakpoint and then just run.
Okay.
So what the default function does is it gives you a get and a post, so you can post data to it. And it takes in the default takes in like you can see it here, request name query, and then returns that back.
Okay, so the thing that threw me off a bit is it shows both get and post, and those are two different HTTP verbs. Is it saying it responds to both get and post?
That is correct, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so it's starting up my storage emulator.
Get it.
Come on, mighty storage emulator.
Well, that happens. Thanks, Watch Me Code for the auto host. I appreciate that. Alassian, last 7. There we go. Thank you for the follow. WBW, thank you for the follow. Double Plus, good games. Thank you for the follow. Chef Brent and Twilio, thank you for the follow. I love to just yell out people's names that have been following me.
Sure.
Oh, there's a function, right?
Yeah. So here, let me.
Love how everything opens on your other screen.
I know. I have 3 screens.
So this is the best part of functions.
I think so.
You can run your functions on your machine.
Yep. That is wonderful.
So there's your API, right?
Get and post, get shows. Okay, cool.
You can put that in a browser. Put that in a browser.
All right. You think I won't?
Good. Your life.
Okay.
As long as your browsers don't have bad things. I'll secrets it. Oh gosh.
No. That's all fine. So we, my father-in-law had a saying one summer. He would tell my kids, "It's your life, live it." And then we dealt with that after coming home for quite a while. I'm like, nah, it's not totally like you can't actually do everything you want. It's what grandfathers can say that stuff. But all right, come on.
Oh, you hit a breakpoint. That's why.
Oh, there you go. I would have been waiting there all day long. So here, I'm just going to let it run.
Okay.
And we'll see what happens in my browser.
Boom.
Please pass the name in the query string or request body because it's expecting that.
Yeah, and that's why this one is doing a get or a post, because you can just send it a URL with query parameters at the end, and that's still kind of a get, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Boom.
Hello, James.
Boom. Hello, awesome. James. There you go.
Woo-wee. Bootstrap that. Okay, cool.
So do you kind of understand what's happening here?
Sure. Makes sense. Yep.
Takes it in, deserializes it, and then returns this action result for us. Now, in this instance, we're going to return some JSON to the system. I mean, that's probably what we would do, because I think returning JSON is fine, or whatever.
Well, yeah. So there's actually a few different ways that I've done this. One is that you can have an API that you call into and it gets JSON. But another way of doing it is that your update function writes out a JSON file to Azure Storage, and then your you don't even need a get API really, because you can just give out that access token. You know what I mean? You can basically link to that file. I think this is good to start with. We do a get and an update function, but we can keep that out there as a possibility of we may just want a JSON file on disk to access.
Yeah, good question. Luce asked, does a function running locally hot reload, as it were? No, you'd have to stop and then start again, the function. It's compiled. It's a compiled function.
Yeah.
If it was like JavaScript or something.
Right. Yeah, pretty much anything with this like backend C# code, you've got to like stop and start.
So I think what I would do here is probably copy and paste my code from the other one.
I'm good at that. That's what I do. All right, so let's see which of my 1,000 browsers.
Enhancement forms. So I would copy that blob trigger over, See what I did there?
So this is the get one that you want to do?
Yeah.
All right.
Copy it all over.
So we'll change it from get tweets to whatever, get shows.
Oh yeah. Can you?
So actually, I don't want to copy get tweets.
You're probably not get tweets. And then can you move my head just a little bit down on your screen?
Yes.
Oh, a little bit up. Perfect. I need to have
Cool.
like a cutout rectangle in your background so you can line it up.
I know.
That'd be good.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can just put that in there.
Good. All right. So we can just replace this whole thing.
Boom. Now notice that it used to be called run, and now it's called get tweets. So you can have multiple functions that live inside of a class.
Mhm.
So what I like to do is I like to name them this way, like you've done. But I like to say my function name is my method name. And I think you can even do name of get shows, and I think that even works. So like
Yeah, actually, so that should be, I kind of like that, right? So function name right here would be name of.
I think so.
And I question, it's possible you don't even need that because
Maybe because it's run. Because if it's run, then it doesn't do it. I don't know. I just leave it just in case.
And then do we do like that? Now, do you need a
You get rid of the little
the
wigglies.
quotes, right?
Think that works? Question mark? Yeah.
Cool.
Now that is in debate. And I'll tell you why that's in debate, John.
Mhm.
Because now let's say that you deploy this function in your backend, and let's say that you change that name of that function for some reason.
Mhm.
What will happen is, this is cool. This is a cool thing that's happening right here, by the way.
It's
You're about
wanting
to
me to install something.
Yeah, but look,
right?
it told you what package to install.
I love that.
That's
Yeah,
the new
so
hotness.
cool. Okay, find and install latest version.
Yeah, that is the version. That's the thing that you wanted. So the thing is, if you rename the get shows, then that's going to change your function name when you deploy that out to Azure. And if you have clients that are subscribed, now that name is different. So, be aware of that. If you change it, it's going to change it. So, okay, so what you just brought in, you kind of hit it, but you brought in a special package called, what's in that blob thing? It's in Microsoft.
Let's look at dependencies.
Nugget. Web jobs extensions. Jobs? Oh, that is? Storage.
Yeah, I think so.
Storage.
Yes. So that's an interesting thing. This actually comes from web jobs, which go way back, and then a lot of stuff got built on top of it. Azure Functions got built on top of Functions.
Yeah. Or on top of web jobs, yeah. So these now this is basically, there's all of these connectors, if you will, that are out there. And what that does, it's kind of like the Flow app, right? There's a connector. You have that email connector, but this is a blob storage connector. So it gives you these little, attributes that you add, and then it associates different parameters of what you want to do and passes that information automatically. So what this is saying right here is go find Hanselman/Twitter.json in my blob storage with the connection string here, which is going to be in my private variables. Yep. And then send that in read and then pass it in as in blob. That's crazy. Like, it just did it automatically for you.
So you're wiring stuff together here. And this syntax, some people might not be familiar with this, but you can put attributes on function parameters. So it's really powerful. So there's actually there's attributes on function parameters. There's attributes on this function or this method, and then you can have attributes all over the place.
Now that blob helpers, that's a special helper that I wrote. So you're gonna have to do more code.
All right, so I think I might be able to say generate class in a new file. Although now it's going to put all the wrong accessors, and then I'm going to be unhappy.
Oh, that's great.
Okay, so here we'll go over here. We'll go up to our blob helpers. Is that in?
No, it's in the. Oh, it's going to be in a helpers folder. I love folders that are called helpers. So yeah, here you
go. That's a whole debate too. It's like, what do you call helpers? And on the one hand, it's like, that's a terrible name, but then what else are you going to call it? So.
You can just grab just the method if you want to.
Well, all right. Yeah, you're right. Okay, so.
And then I'll show you my next favorite feature of Visual Studio 2019.
Oh, good. All right, so here, let's go out to blob helpers. Let's go, I think, and do this.
Yep. Then wait a second. See that little go down? Go down a little bit. See that little wrench? Oh, hit that.
Oh my
There you go.
goodness. I didn't know about
You got
that.
that one. You got one set. You get one try. If you do anything else, it goes away forever. But boom, you just brought in as much as it could possibly figure out.
Where has that been all my life?
No.
Okay. iLogger. And
Two of
are
them.
you, which one are you using? This one here, right?
That's a new feature in 2019. Kendra showed me
That is a wonderful new feature.
Bringing all those namespaces. So anyways, this is, I have all sorts of different feeds and that I'm reading and parsing all the time. So I wrote this to be reusable. So it takes in the blob, reads in the blob as a string, and then outputs it as string content as a JSON. I have no idea if I'm doing that right, but I think I am.
Cool.
How's that look? You're web pro. Does that look correct?
Well, yeah. So I do like the string interpolation, by the way. That still makes me happy. I know it's been around for a while now, but I've wanted that forever. Yeah, UTF-8 application JSON. That looks good to me.
Reading a file, a little using statement. There you go.
I don't know about this internal server error. Well, okay, sure, 500.
Okay.
Well, so let's actually obsess about that just a second. Blob to response message. Yeah, I was going to see if there was a more accurate HTTP, because there's tons of HTTP response codes, and a lot of time people just default to using the simplest ones. If there's a more specific one, but I guess in this case there isn't really. So.
Yeah, I mean, you could easily like check if the file exists. If it's null, then that would be a different error, I guess.
Right. Yeah. So like, yeah. But all right. So here we go. Back in our function. Now we've got the thing. We're going to want to rename stuff. This is going to be shows. Azure Web Job Storage. So we'll need to change. We need that. And then this.
So that's the folder and then the file.
Shows.
I think so.
Okay.
Oh my goodness, we got another raid, John. 47 people, Instafluff action. Oh my god.
Oh, Instafluff, cool.
What up? Oh my goodness, it's a raid. It's the biggest raid we've ever had. Welcome.
That is amazing.
Oh my goodness. Thank you, Instafluff. Thank you so much. Hey Fluff, how's it going?
I feel there's a whole karma thing going on. This morning, Jeff pinged me and said, hey, Instafluff's got this thing. Let's tweet it. Let's help get the word out. And now it all comes back. Thanks a lot.
It all comes back. Taylor, thank you for the follow. Welcome, Instafluff fans. You came in for a treat, let's be honest with you. I'm normally here doing Xamarin development, but I'm doing nothing. I'm just the host, to be honest with you. My good friend Jon Galloway, you may know him. He's an influencer on the internet. You may know him from such things as Twitter and .NET Foundation and ASP.NET and books that he's read.
Stand up. Yeah. I should have had a book. I could have shown off my book.
Look at my book.
One of my books has been translated into Chinese.
Whoa,
and I've
that's
been
cool.
I've been trying to learn some Chinese. Now it's all coming together.
That's awesome.
I could read my own book.
That's cool. Oh my goodness. We are we have a lot of people following us. Simrose, Pinata, thank you for the follows.
Well, so part of what we're doing, let me try and explain it better than I did last time.
Give that one.
We have these community stand-ups, and we've been doing these for a while. For ASP.NET. And then recently we expanded, and we've also got .NET, like all the different .NETs, mobile and games and all kinds of stuff. And those are on Thursdays, and we do them not just on YouTube, we do them on Twitch too. So it's time to grow up and have a new thing on
.NET.
Yeah, so when people go to the .NET community page, like this can be built right in. They'll click a thing here for stand-ups, and it'll take them to a beautiful thing that looks like this, supported by the people who have pagers that like fix stuff when it gets broken, and not us. And it's going to be based on what we're building. Right? So yeah, how'd I do?
That's great. Yeah, and we have a current website built. Do you want to run the website maybe and show off what we've done?
Yeah,
so we've in the last few weeks we've been building out an ASP.NET core application to take the YouTube API directly and make that our end all be all. So we used to have an admin portal, we used to have a bunch of other stuff, and now we are just querying the YouTube API directly for this playlist that will show us all of our shows. And the idea is that we're going to take this, it's already open source, but then we're going to integrate it into .net. So we'll hand it off. Oh, that is large.
Oh.
It scales.
Hey, it's responsive.
It's responsive.
Yeah, there we go.
So I don't know anything about web development, so John's been helping me there. And our plan is to then build a mobile app off of this. But this is what we have. Looks pretty good.
And we have support for like community links, which is kind of neat. Yeah, and it's all bootstrappy and yeah.
And when something's on the air, it will show the player on there automatically, or you can come like chat with us. So this is all happening automatic, which is really, really cool. And now what we want to do, what we're doing today specifically, is we're ripping the YouTube junk out of the website and putting that in an Azure function.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what we're doing.
Cool. So let's see about this. We could, so we have a get method. So we're using an Azure function to manage like talking to the YouTube API, getting all our data together. So the website just talks to the function to get its stuff.
Yeah.
So here's our one to get the shows. And then we also need something to update the shows.
Yeah. So you probably copy paste that puppy.
Okay. So this one is going to be slightly different though, because this one, I mean, if I paste, yours is accessing, not YouTube, right? Yours is accessing tweets. So we're going to actually have to write some code here.
Well, and the nice thing is that ideally our code is maybe written for us. Almost.
You've got video functions? What's this about?
So that queries all of channel 9 to grab Scott Hanselman's things. All my functions are very, very similar. Let me tell you, there's listens to an XML feed, parses the XML feed, and then outputs it to a file.
Okay.
Yeah, this looks pretty good. Yeah.
All right. So we'll copy this and then we'll change it from Twitter. I'm going to do find replace because why not?
Basically, yeah.
I mean, so I can do like, well, I don't know. So here we've got, and this is the thing where I got to remember.
Gone.
It's gone.
I don't think you have anything. You're good.
Oh, I don't need any usings. I just need to.
Yeah, so that one you can get rid of because you're not going to need an HTTP client.
Okay.
Yep. Boom.
This one here, we want to call it live stand-up shows.json.
I love when you copy something in Visual Studio. It's like, oh, hold on.
It's like, wait a minute, I got to think about that.
Copying something. I don't know. Hold the phone. This is a big operation. Just the first time.
Yeah, it's like, what are you doing there?
Yeah, so now I think you can just Replace Twitter stuff.
So we don't need this, right?
Yeah, make that string.empty. That's what I would do. Or no. Yeah, don't. Okay, well, let's start at the top.
All right.
So, yeah, let's start renaming stuff.
Twitter update. So we want show up or get shows or update shows.
Sure. Oh, you name of your fan.
All right. Doop. All right. And I want to confess, I actually just clicked on something and it like did that. I don't even know what I clicked on.
I believe that there's a IntelliSense thing that probably does. Boom.
Wonderful. Okay.
One too many closing brackets.
Well, just in case. I like to keep like an extra around.
You never know. You never know when you're going to need it.
Okay, so I've got this wacky keyboard and I installed a plugin for my keyboard. And if I hit, I think the control key, or no, the shift key and let go of it, it writes print. Left shift is open print and right shift. Yeah.
Interesting.
Still getting used to it though, so it ends up with some extras. Okay.
Cool. So yeah, what this is doing is just some information, log it out. What I do here is I have this Twitter helper, and that is getting the tweets, right? So it goes off, it gets tweets or whatever. But what we want to do is
show helper.
I mean, we can just put the logic here.
Oh, all right.
Well, we have our, you know what we have? We can pass into this. We have our Twitter thingy, right? Our YouTube thing.
YouTube something. What's it called? So is that in here?
No.
In our shared? It's in our.
Probably should be though.
Yeah. All right. So let's look in our web app. Honestly, it's been a bit since I looked at that. Oh, my computer's still being wacky. Look at that. I want to add those G files. All right. So I YouTube show service.
Yeah, do you think we should maybe bust that out into a
We should. So I can take this. I can just cut. I can move that into shared.
should it go in shared or should it go in somewhere else? Because that'll be shared with like the website. We no longer need it in the
Well, I think the show. Yeah, maybe not.
Well, I'm curious if the one that's in our mobile app and that's in our website, they might have the same interface.
I wonder
Right.
though if it's enough of this will be shared that we might as well have it in shared. Like the only other thing that's in shared right now is show, and show is going to be pretty common too, right?
Yeah. Well, the question is like if we share this, do we want to have to bring in the YouTube API even in our website? Like we don't want to, right? See what I'm saying?
Yeah, but right now the shared thing doesn't have the YouTube API.
That's true. Oh, I see what you're saying.
So this is like data
Yeah.
transfer. Okay, so I don't know what to call it though.
Maybe just
here,
pull it in there then. What's in that iYouTube thing?
um,
Oh yeah, iYouTube. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, it shows.
it's just an interface, right?
Great interface. Yeah, so
Okay,
pull
so
that up. Pull it up, yeah.
cut and paste.
Let me
It's
see.
gone.
Oh my, what?
Here, can I do this?
Drag and drop that pup.
All right, now we're gonna need to change our namespace.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful.
Then I think what you could do is I bet that you could drag the YouTube service that we had into the Azure function.
Oh my gosh. Do you think that would work?
Yeah.
Into the function, I should maybe refactor it into a folder though, right?
No.
Or not? Maybe not. Okay.
Who cares?
So now we're gonna have some broken references because people are angry, right? So I'm just gonna build stuff.
Are you going to delete that out of the website?
I should have.
Do it. Get out of here.
Otherwise,
Refactoring is the best when
permanently.
you just drag it. It's gone forever. But I like the mock one. In fact, the mock one could go into the shared.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because why not, right? It's just data. Well, maybe.
I don't know actually. What is in there?
I don't know. I'm scared. Now how do you
Yeah, I'm
I guess that one reads the file, right? Yeah, maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Okay, so here, I think what I can do is using shared services.
There you go.
Magic. Okay, so that's all good.
Then you can delete the YouTube show service out of there, right?
Yep.
Sorry, Fritz.
All right, so now what is broken? So that is broken, and that's going to take some refactoring.
Is it?
Oh, no, it's not. It's just we need to add it.
Is it magical references?
Wonderful.
Because, yeah, now the interface will be shared. So if the mobile app wants to interface an iYouTube show service, whatever, right?
Yeah. I love this refactoring when it's mostly working. Okay, so now this is going to be harder, like fixing. Oh, so I'm just fixing the like iYouTube show service references. Add reference.
Oh, that's great. That's a new feature too, that add reference. See that? I'm pretty sure that didn't exist before.
Which is super, and that's one of those things where it's like, this is amazing, and it's also like, why did it take so long? You know. Yeah. But this is great too. Look at this. It's going to be like, what do you want to install? Do you want to install missing stuff? So I think now we need to go over to our YouTube show service and fix it up.
Yeah, everything's in the functions. Because we had some new. Oh, I wonder if it'll just bring in the NuGets in the YouTube show service.
I think it actually will. So here, let's see where our sadness is. Where is that red sadness? Oh, remove. That's not what we wanted.
What about on the name down below itself?
Install. Do I want to use locally installed version? I think it's saying this is what you want to use.
Okay.
Or I could go with the latest, but I don't know what it is. Let's find out. Let's live on the edge. What do you think?
Okay. Live dangerously. Uh, yeah,
Failed.
failed. So maybe not
That's
that
what I
one.
get. Let's live not quite that dangerously.
All package. Use local. There you go. Fluid, thank you for the follow. Yeah, so InstaFluff, I do that thing that Fritz does. So whenever somebody donates a sub or they donate bits, then we put them into the comment. Pretty cool. Give back. Luce asks, what was the first version of VS to get auto usings? I think 16.1? 16.2?
I'm way
It's all a blur.
All a blur. It was all a dream. I installed
Yeah.
VS 2017. Then I upgraded to 2019. I don't know if that's going to work. I don't know what's going on there.
It's doing something. Execute. Well, I have one option, which is cancel. It does say installing, and I have spinning and waiting.
Cancel it. Get out
You think
now.
so?
Get out now.
All right. Yeah. So sometimes canceling is not the best idea.
You should have, I mean, you shouldn't have watched, but last Friday, I was installing an extension into Visual Studio, and I was like, oh, you know what? I don't need this. I was installing the Blazor templates extensions, which I don't actually need anymore because it's like a NuGet package that you run or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I was updating Visual Studio and I hit cancel, and then let me put up your secret screen. Just showing all your secrets.
Well, so you know what's going on now? It's installing a Windows update.
No. Oh my goodness.
So and it's 95% done. So I just said cancel that. So that's
Visual Studio's installing a Windows.
No, modern setup hosts an entire Windows update.
Beautiful.
So now that I've stopped that, now
maybe it'll do it. Yeah, so I canceled the VS like extension update, and then that nuked my entire VS, so I had to go through a full repair, which does a full reinstall. It took an hour. It was crazy. I think he killed it.
Well, let's see what other things. Migration plugin host. I don't know what that is. I like to kill processes when I don't know what they are. I mean, that seems like something I could kill. I don't know what it is.
Oh, did it? They wouldn't give me this dialogue if they didn't trust me.
There you are, modern setup host.
What is that?
That is the Windows installer.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, so I love the previews, but like for right now, yeah, I don't know.
Oh, you are in preview, huh?
Yeah. Okay.
I bet if you went to the normal one, which we know works, which is like install the NuGet.
So here's the thing though, is I have the option of cancel. So we can.
Did you cancel it?
Yeah, I'm clicking on it. You can't see it, but I'm clicking like crazy. So what I'm going to do actually, I actually, one time I went to a presentation, Richard Campbell, and he was showing something off and he's like, computer's running slow. I'm just going to start killing processes. And people were like, what? And he's like, no, you think I'm joking. So I just killed that process. And so I gained from that like a new courage about just killing processes. It's my computer.
Yeah. Don't tell me, computer, what to do. I'll show you what to do.
That's right. Yeah. Okay, so it started on my other screen.
Perfect.
Let's get over here. Good. Okay, and it's possible. It's already. All right, it's doing some restoring of packages. That's all good.
Okay. So now if you go back into your YouTube service.
Well, so I can do it from there. YouTube service.
The only one we haven't tried is the third option. Talk to Kendra about install with package manager.
Oh, there you go. Which is what I was going to want to do anyhow, right?
Strange.
So here it says no packages found.
Because they're installed.
Oh.
Yeah, if you should have installed the latest one from the internet.
Yeah, and I also don't like this. It's like no packages found, and I'm on installed. Like this I do this all the time. I would like it to, just wisely say like, did you mean to, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Click to install or something like that. All right. It's doing some there. It seems to have happened. Cool. And which version did we get? 14 or 142, which I think was what we were looking at. Shared models.
Yeah, the using statement should say bring in the thing.
Yeah.
Add that reference. Bam. I think you did that earlier, but you didn't save it, and then Visual
Oh,
Studio crashed, so gone. Now save everything, quick, or it's all gone.
save it all. It's all saved. Now, I do want to, this is something bugging me. I need to get this fixed. So before even doing that, this is called live stand-up functions, not function one.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to need to rename that, or I'll just flip out. Okay, rename. Yep.
It is highly upsetting.
It is. It is.
There's a way to do
Okay.
it, though. I think if you do it in the File Explorer, I think it will update the name of the class.
If I'd renamed it the right way.
Yeah.
And even if you rename it here, it's like gives you that refactor thing. What's it want me to do here? Move to a namespace. All right.
Don't tell me Visual Studio how my namespace should work.
Okay, so now we've got, these are the kind of problems we're dealing with.
That's good.
Yeah. So we need to, instead of using Twitter helpers to get tweets, we want to use our YouTube show service to get shows.
Yeah, I love it.
Okay, so that's, if I say YouTube show service.
Well, could you pass in and...
Oh, I should DI it, right? You think?
I think so. Yeah, pass it in.
All right.
Now, I don't know how to register, but I think we can DI it. Yeah, DI that.
That's easy for you to say. I don't know that it's registered for DI, and that might be like I kind of want to not right now because I feel like that's going to be a refactor thing for later.
What does a YouTube service show take, though?
It's going to take...
What if I told you I already have...
Oh, you already have this?
The DI set up.
Yeah, well, why didn't you tell me that? That's wonderful.
Well, I mean, I don't have it 100%, but there is a startup.cs in there, and I ripped this code off of the internet to give me HTTP client factory. But if you
that's not everything there.
That one would do it there. See it?
Honestly,
Builders.
no.
Builder services. Yeah.
So builder add extension.
So I'm doing it so I can get HTTP client factory, but you can configure your interface there. You know what I mean?
Okay. So how about if I grab this entire startup?
Or I live life.
And then we go from there. So there's no startup in here?
Well, traditionally, functions don't have a startup, right? Because they're independent, but this is kind of a hacky way of...
Well, and this uses a nice thing too, is that assembly attribute there.
Mm-hmm.
So I could call this anything I want, but startup is kind of a whoops. Oh no, I did Control C. I hate it when I do that. Oh, you know what I could do?
Oh, actually, Janiscu is saying that there's an official .NET dependency injection for Azure Functions that maybe we should use.
Well, let's do that. I do want to first show. I did Windows V.
Did you see that Windows V clipboard? Look at you. Wow. Like that.
I know. I love the Windows V, man. So I also use another one. I use Ditto DB. So I actually have two clipboard histories running.
Now,
but
you know what the problem there is what happens when you accidentally copy and paste your home address and then you're on a live stream and you're like, oh, there's my live address. Now we know where Jon lives. You
could probably find it. Don't, but you could. Okay.
Oh, there is a startup. Look at this. Whoa, hey, copy and paste that. That looks amazing.
This whole thing, right?
Okay. Yeah, that looks great. Well, and this actually tells you how to use an official HTTP client.
And using injected dependencies.
I need to update mine. Mine is terrible. Amazing.
I mean, I wasn't going to say that, but it's pretty bad. Okay, so here, let's go here. Startup. So this thing, assembly, that's the whole kind of way of registering startup classes, and it's doing the same thing. Function startup. So there, it's not digging on that. And I lost my. What do I even do here? I've got a lot of stuff to fix.
What's in function startup? Right click on.
Control dot.
What about function startup below? Oh, because it's the name of the thing. Oh. So it says that you should bring in Microsoft.azure.functions.extensions.
Let me see if this. Nobody wants to do this. All right. So Microsoft.azure.functions.extensions.
Yeah.
All
And
right.
another one.
All right, let's do it.
Doing it manually. Microsoft.azure.functions.extensions. A learning opportunity for everyone involved. Because I did it some other way, but now this is looking much cleaner.
Yeah.
When did that come out? May. Okay.
All right. So
1.0. 1.0.
So we have extensions and what else?
Microsoft.net.sdk. Functions. Functions? Interesting.
We already have that.
Oh, perfect. So we already have it. So that should be it.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, so now I want to look at this code that we pasted in because
Go ahead. Up a little bit.
is this, there we go. Oh, I should have used the copy function. Okay, so the code is referencing a pre-release of Microsoft Azure Cosmos.
But I don't think we need that. Because you could just delete that code. See, like, you should delete everything in there.
Yeah,
Inside the
well, definitely
configure,
not.
right?
All I really need is that environment variable business. Environment.get. So what I'm going to do is do I need an HTTP client?
You can delete all of it. Yeah, keep that for reference, right?
Yeah.
And the question is this file not getting compiled or something?
Well, so here, assembly function startup, and maybe it's the name because it's like, for instance, name of the type or namespace function startup could not be found.
Did you install this into the right new? Yeah, you did.
It's so this is startup, right? Where's my startup file? Right there.
Maybe like edit that file. Edit the project.
Here, I'm gonna close and open because sometimes that does stuff. Nope. You want me to edit the project?
Yeah, like maybe it got set as like don't compile or something.
Edit. Come on, John. It's right there. Good. Okay. It's looking good.
There's nothing else underneath.
Um,
that looks good. Yeah, all right.
that looks good, right?
Yeah,
I mean, I can also try, close and reopen.
oh, did it actually get added? I don't see it in there.
Oh, startup is not added to the project?
Yeah, I don't see it in there. Edit that
I
puppy.
see now what you're saying, yeah.
Yeah, see, there's whatever we just added, the Azure Functions Extensions is not there.
You're right.
Yeah.
Okay. That's odd.
That is weird.
Is it not?
Is it in there?
So.
No? Where did you add it to?
I don't know. That's now I'm gonna wonder.
There it is. Huh.
Oh no, well, so this is the .NET SDK functions.
Oh, okay. What was the other thing? Microsoft Azure Functions.
I'm surprised that nobody on the chat is saying like, you silly person, you're missing.
Well, Aiden was asking, did you definitely add it? And I said, yes. Oh, no. Oh, you know what happened?
Did it not?
Install. Why did it fail?
I don't know. Let's see. Okay. Output. Come on, John. Where is output? There we go.
Oh, I see. Something with on.net. Here it is.
conflict with JSON.NET.
You ready for this?
Yeah.
Azure Functions requires that you use 11.02 of JSON.NET.
Okay.
So
What do we
see,
got?
here's what it's saying. Let's describe this. Okay, so in there it's saying, if you zoom in here, zoom in there, Control plus, Windows
Chroma,
plus, Windows plus.
Windows Plus. All right, just a second. Nope, that didn't go well.
Oh, do you not have magnifier on?
I have a wacky keyboard.
Classic.
So
John.
Windows Plus. No, so there did Windows equal.
Oh,
Whoa, my goodness.
There you go.
I
So
don't even know though.
so what that, and then
I'm trying to move it.
you have multiple monitors, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, that's not good. All right, maybe Windows is.
Cancel live stream.
All right. So, anyways, what this is saying is live stand up depends on live stand up shared, which has the one line above it, which has newtonsoft.json version 12. But then for live stand up.functions, you're trying to install this other thing.
And
we
this
have this
one
other thing requires 11.02.
And I don't like this. They lock to a specific version.
Mm-hmm. So this is tricky. So on your entirety of your solution, let's install 11.02 of newtonsoft.
So we could do that. I also have the option potentially. I wonder. Pre-release. There's not.
Checkbox.
Okay, so and it's so all of them have updates, right?
What's the other one? This one's saying Microsoft.net.SDK function.
We're on latest.
Yeah.
All right, fine. Okay.
All right, sorry, John. Sorry.
I don't like this. Okay, so now I need to go. Now this is actually looking at what's installed. So we're using. So I need to manually install.
Yeah, just go to your solution and then do it there.
The entire solution?
Yeah, just do it. It'll be easier. Just trust me.
All right.
So what's installed here? Got a bunch of good stuff. There it is. So then, yeah, in your shared project and your web project, check those checkboxes.
All right, so shared and web.
Yep. And then install 11.02. I know what you're saying.
I don't like doing that.
You have to do it. Welcome to my world. Do it. We'll let Rowan mess with the dependency.
Well, he shouldn't actually need to, right? Because it'll be.
I don't even know if you can do it in your web project. That's funny. It's probably something else locking you to it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is because Microsoft is.
This should work though, because we're just using the shared from our function, so that should work.
All right, so now let's see what it did here.
You should be able to add that now.
So I'm going to do like that specific package reference, or add it in here. Manage.
Yeah, go back to your fourth tab.
Fourth tab.
And try to just find that one again, the Microsoft Azure Functions.
Right. Okay.
Now let's see what.
So you were saying, welcome to my world. This is something that you end up dealing with.
Yeah, I feel like there's a weird when you get into Azure Functions. Now it's installed. There you go.
All right.
When you get into Azure Functions, I feel like for some reason, it really like something at some point like locked into this version of newtonsoft.json, and everyone's like, no. Like someone put equals instead of equal or greater than or equals to, and then everything just like locks into it. And I don't know why. I need to talk to the team about it, but something down the chain there totally did it.
Yeah.
There you go. Anyways.
All right. So here in our function startup, and then we were all doing this because of this dependency injection business, right?
Yeah,
basically. That's how we got into the. See, I told you. I'm like, oh, just inject it, whatever.
The spin up a new. I think we have to though, because go into the YouTube service, right? In your code. Like if you go to the YouTube show
service.
See, we actually pass an iConfiguration.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, yeah, although this could be reading directly from our, because we have local settings JSON, right?
Yeah, that's true.
And so, I mean, we could be just reading our settings.
This is true.
So I actually want to back up a second.
You
Do
want,
we need to
you want to delete everything?
in, do we need to inject anything when we could just be reading our configuration?
No, we don't need to. I mean, live your life, John.
I mean, no, are we, and I'm thinking it through here. Am I messing it up? Like if we do switch over to just reading this, does this screw up our web application or anything else? I think honestly, there's not really, if we're not injecting anything that we're actually going to use, it's just extra code to be, dealing with.
Delete it. Get it out of here.
All right.
Uninstall everything. Get out of
All
here.
right. Delete.
Boom. Okay, I trust you.
Okay. I mean, okay. So now,
I see what you're saying. Okay.
yeah, so all we need to do in our show is read stuff, and we can actually, how do you read these values here from your local settings normally?
Good question. Azure functions read local settings.json. So docket. Find it.
Nah. I thought managing connections and it would have like, that's not helping me out. Configure.
This
Application
looks good.
settings.
I like that. I like that.
Well, so
Because
this
that's
is
what we're gonna be, right? Yeah. Oh, there you
function.
go. Get environment variable.
Yeah, and so what they're doing there, get environment variable, system environment, get environment variable. Right?
Yeah, there's a name colon.
This is just because it's writing them out. It's just logging. They're using that to format, I think.
Oh, yes, you want that. I see.
Yeah. So I think we can go in here. I mean, I'm just winging it, but here, if I go to show service, I think we can do something like,
Do that, yeah.
right? And then we can say,
Those keys, right?
yeah, and maybe we do want to move this over to like a static or something. You know what I mean? Like a utility thing.
Get it.
Get config.
Get config. Because we have those keys.
Yeah, and then we can just directly use all that stuff, right? So now let's go refactor, generate method. Yeah, although string v, I don't know, that's kind of a weird name. Name, and then here we'll go that, and then we'll just return it.
Boop. What version of .NET do web apps use? Well, I think Azure Functions use ASP.NET Core. They use their .NET Core 2.1 app, and I think our website is a 2.2 app. Yeah.
2.2. Yep.
So now we could just do all of these, right? That's easier. And then we can not pass in an I configuration.
Yeah, so I can do.
I like your style.
Yeah, you're right. So we don't even need that. So I can do replace, Control H, right? And we'll just do. All right, and then these guys, it's just going to be easier to do.
Yeah, the Functions app, JNSQ is the 2.1. .NET Core 2.1 app. They might have moved it to 2. I'm not really positive, but at least the templates are 2. Damn.
All right.
So then you can remove the I configuration out of there, right? Out of that constructor. I see. Cool. So now what you're saying is inside of our get shows.
Yeah.
Inside of our function, we just knew that puppy up.
Yep. And we just said, go get them.
I like that. That's easier. Why complicate it, right? Is what you're saying.
Yeah. And especially because this configuration is going to be, we're going to have our local defaults that are in our local settings, JSON.
Mm-hmm.
And then our application code is, our actual settings are going to be managed in Azure.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So I think, what's next? Oh, so now we can go in and we can say, update live streaming details. We're going to have to update this. because this is a task that returns something.
Do we? Where?
I'm trying to see. Well, so if we go back into our function, let's close out some of this business.
Goodness.
Okay, so if we go into our functions, this thing here,
Yeah.
we're going to say, we could change that over to a static, or we could say var service equals new YouTube shows service.
That's kind of cool because we just kind of lifted it, and then back in our ASP.NET or even our shared code, we can now call this method.
Yeah, so now I can say whatever service get shows.
We
All right.
for some reason put a lot of public asyncs on that thing. I don't know why. I mean, the interface has one thing, and
Yeah.
then yeah, just rename that thing, I guess.
And this didn't happen. There it is. Now I want to rename. Good.
And then go up to
Oh,
your blob really quick,
yep.
and then
This
go to
here.
your right. Yeah, maybe just rename it to out blob.
It always cracks me up. Just blobs. It just sounds fun.
Blobs.
All right. So now I should have done the refactor rename.
Shows function. Bam.
Okay.
Done.
This could not actually work. Do you think this works?
Well, the only thing that's left is that YouTube service, you need to go copy your secret variables over.
I do.
Right.
So one way I could do, so I'm curious about this, by the way. This file, local settings JSON, I want to make sure, I want to see where this file is stored. So this is interesting. They're not using, one thing I like about the secrets in ASP.NET is that manage user secrets. Let me see if it gives me that option. Nope, it doesn't give me that option. So I do like that user secrets in ASP.NET are actually not even in my file, right? This is get ignored, which is good. But yeah.
I
All
see.
right.
Yeah, I see. I see what you're saying because
It's a minor thing. But...
yeah, so we would have to like literally check that into source code.
Well, we don't necessarily because this thing here shows it's get ignored.
Oh, so what you could do is then do a copy and paste that and then do a dot dev or whatever, like dot template or whatever, so people could use it, right? I've seen that done before.
Yep.
Like dot settings underscore.
Okay. Example. Yeah.
Because then I think what we want to do is, what does the template in our ASP.NET website look like?
Excellent point. So if we go over here to our app settings.
So basically that default thumbnail and the YouTube stuff we could copy and paste, right?
I think we can get rid of that.
No, don't get rid of John. Oh,
all right.
My God.
Okay, so default thumbnail, YouTube key, all this is good, right? Well, this stuff here.
Yeah.
So just these ones here. So now if I go over local settings, and then I've got values, and I think that just goes right into that. Question mark?
Does it? No, I don't know if it does. I think it goes outside of it, right?
Okay. Maybe.
I think.
Let's look at our documentations.
That's probably the better. Like, where does that live? JSON.
It's not going to tell me.
Up top?
Environment variables. Don't make me search.
Oh, there it is.
So that's actually not, I might have to search.
Oh, there it is. Local.settings.
Okay, so here, let me search in the page. Boop.
Oh, there you go.
So how are they doing them? They're actually doing that right inside values. I think I was right.
Values, application settings.
Okay, so inside of values. All right, doop. Going in.
Down a little.
Yeah,
I think you win. I think you win.
I think in this case, and you know what's great is if it doesn't work, you can blame me. So
You can need one
this
more
is,
squiggly.
okay, that does concern me slightly. That it's an array. I don't know if we can do,
Array and an array. You're just going to get rid of the array? Get rid of the array.
I don't think we need to, right? We can just say YouTube colon. You know what I'm saying?
Side.
Yeah.
Yeah, do that.
Okay. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, we're living on the edge here.
Got it. And then you get rid of the YouTube thing, right?
Yeah. All right. Now I wonder if it can format this JSON for me. Control KD. Look at that.
Nice.
Okay. So I think that's good. We don't have the key, which is just fine. I'll do that in secrets mode when the time comes. And
Did it. We could run it
all
right
right.
now and then put a breakpoint on those and see if it actually did it, right?
Okay. Sounds all good. This was app settings.json. That's in our web app. Is that right?
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, you just
Oh,
removed your John is awesome.
I think I can do
Classic. The keys have a YouTube prefix. They sit in a JSON object inside a property called YouTube. Yeah, that's what we did. We just weren't sure if they worked.
that. Yeah.
But I'm curious if that actually breaks it now. Like, do we actually want the semicolons? Like, would that break it? Because is that going to look for the structure we just had?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, what if we just get rid of the colons?
All right. Oh,
Just in
you're saying
case.
just, all right.
Yeah, why not, right?
Just
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. And then back in your YouTube service, boom.
All right. YouTube show service.
I think so. Just in case it tries to do something. I'm not myself, coming in with a rate of 2. Welcome to the stream, everybody.
It's wonderful.
Come on.
Okay. I think, are we ready to run this and watch it break?
Yes,
Because it's going to get everything but that API key.
that is correct.
Okay.
Ready.
You just want to watch the world burn.
I do.
Okay.
Wah, wah, wah,
Set
wah.
a startup.
I want to see if my code works, John. Is James's code ready for production? I don't know.
You know,
So
I don't know.
worried.
I want to put a breakpoint in my project file. Tell me when I can do that. In the XML, I want to break in my XML.
Boom. Now you got another. So you got 2 functions.
Two functions. So now we want to do update shows, right?
Yeah.
Now a host lock lease has been acquired. I don't even know, but I think I'm in escrow. Okay, let's pop over here.
I think I'm in it.
I don't know what's happening.
Sounds right. Bam.
So now that's going to do that. And now we've got our playlist ID.
Ah,
We don't have an API key. Okay. I think we're looking pretty good. Now this is interesting because here we've got that name of business going on.
the business.
You love the name of. Okay. There it is.
Nice.
I think we're good. So now it's going to try and go and it's going to die because it doesn't have an API. But other than that, yeah, unable to get show feed, which actually is what we want to see happening. What? I started debugging into stuff.
Oh, God.
What's even in that? Okay. So I think now what I want to do is get that API key in.
You want to put on the secrets?
Let's do
All right,
secrets.
hold on. 3, Okay, you're good.
I'm good? Okay.
Yeah.
So now what I'm doing, I'll just narrate. I'm right-clicking
Shh,
on my web application.
secrets.
I'm going to manage user
I
secrets.
can see it. I can see your secret. I can see your secret, but they can't see it.
They can't. And now, oh my gosh, are you publishing things on the webs? Okay, so this is something where I want to keep thinking about this.
I prefer that it wasn't there, right? But
Right? I get that this whole manage user secrets is kind of a new thing that they did for ASP.NET Core.
I would like
All,
that. I would like that.
yeah. So now I want to not have a breakpoint on my function. Let's show that.
Don't show
Okay.
everybody your. Yeah. Are you good now? We're back.
Although, really, like I can just reset the key. Like it doesn't
That's true.
really.
And the key that we're
Okay.
actually going to use in prod is going to.
Yep.
Oh, that's what they should have. They should have a dev key and a prod key. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Anyways, all right.
So here it does writer write JSON, and it's going to do a shows function. I could possibly set up a dev key
Ah,
for YouTube that has very limited, like all the stuff.
did you just
There's a
rerun it?
pretty tree. I did just rerun it. I'm going to go to update shows. It's doing something. It's doing that. Executed.
Oh,
So the previous was so here it succeeded. This is good. So now, I don't think I had a breakpoint. So now let's try going to get shows.
like I had a break.
All right.
I feel like it did. I mean, I thought you had a break.
Did I have one? All right.
What went in your catch?
Oh yeah, that's wise. Okay, so let's go back here to update shows. What was my
Yeah.
all right, so let's start seeing what happens here. So I had that breakpoint. Yeah, why did that breakpoint not get hit? Maybe it was still running and it didn't reload config. I think that's what happened. So now it's going out to get shows. Did not happen for us today. So now let's see what our exception is.
Usage limit. Oh my God.
Key invalid domain usage limits. I may have.
You know what it is?
What is it?
I think because in the YouTube portal, you need to tell it what IPs it can run. Remember?
Yeah, and I think maybe before I allowed it for a certain port, and it's running on a different thing or something.
Yeah.
So let's see if it tells me what it needs to say. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not stacked. Oh yeah.
I bet
So
that's what it is.
YouTube. I'm doing this on another screen because, although I don't know if I need to.
YouTube data AP.
I'll start over here and we'll. Okay, so YouTube data API. Oh, but I think I actually need to go to like a dashboard somewhere.
Yeah, it's in like a.
I vaguely remember this.
Oh. No.
All products.
Like your cloud. YouTube. API setup. Let's just look at that.
All right.
Google Developers Council. Council.developers.google.com. I'm going to mute your screen really quick just in case. Crazy project.
Okay. Console.
Council.developers.google.com.
Wonderful. Okay, so here it's on APIs, credentials, blah, blah, blah. And so I don't want that. I want domain verification.
Mm-hmm.
I actually have domain verification turned off, I believe. OAuth consent screen. Hmm. I like that people are guessing my
I guess
keys.
I guess it's in the credentials. I guess yeah, it's just an API key.
Yeah, so I do. If I go to credentials, it'll show the thing. I wonder if I can see if it shows like errors. So there's requests. It seems like it's going to.
I thought we had. I'm wrong.
It says 0 errors. Quotas. This is for a long time ago. Request more quota limit in your quotas. Blah blah blah. I mean, we haven't run any queries today.
No. Go back and maybe debug through and see what's going.
Okay.
I feel like
Yeah,
that
that's.
should have worked.
So let's see if our YouTube shows service, and if we go to app name, where are we actually at in here? We're in the function. So maybe I need to debug into the service, I guess.
What's it?
Bad request, invalid key domain usage limits.
Did you paste your key in?
Possible? All right. All right. That's exciting. Okay, so let's go over here. Taking a look, looking at the secrets. Okay, so if I go to manage users, I have to stop running.
On your web project.
Yep. So I'm on the, nope, I'm on shared. Manage user secrets. You should be giving like an exciting play-by-play. Okay, so
Got a
you see
key.
key there. Okay, so now if I go into my, how's that? How's that? I mean, unless it's like deserializing weird. Okay,
Oh,
so
I wonder if
that's all good stuff, right? So, I mean, we could run this again. We could, let's see when it gets to the request. So I think you can go, I'm trying to think where in here I can set the thing. If I say, would it be an update live streaming details?
you just get shows right
Okay,
there. I wonder if that failed.
let's find out. Okay, so if I go over here, this is interesting. Okay, get shows.
Up. Yeah, I'm trying to look here. Yeah.
All right, so it says getting. So now that initializes fine. So now I want to step into that, right? Step into debug, step into, where is it? Oh, F11, I hit F8. All right, so boom. So app name is right. Can you secret me out just one more time? I want to make sure that the key looks correct. Okay. Good, good. All right, so now YouTube show, and it's calling to list. And this thing, all it does, it doesn't actually do the request yet.
Question
Yeah.
is, does that succeed?
So maybe I did something stupid and I didn't like reload my config in some way.
What just happened, John? What just
So
happened?
I honestly, I think that's what happened is that the function kept running.
What's the JSON look like? Yeah, open
It's
that
looking
puppy
good,
up.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, so now we can call, I keep hitting F10 to step into. Okay, so now I can say continue.
Nice.
And now we can go to get shows. Oh, it's not going to be still running. I need to call, well, there it is. And some would say this is a better user interface than our website. It's just all the data is right there.
It's at your fingertips.
Right. This is actually quite wonderful.
That is
So
quite wonderful.
now, oh, it is 3. By the way,
3:15.
it's 3:15.
Oh my goodness. We have a meeting.
So we have a working function.
Yeah.
I think maybe this is like a place where we stop and then we just, do we have time, do you think, to change over our web app to
Sure.
call into the function?
Sure.
All right, let's see.
Do that.
Because I'm feeling cocky now because like would have thought that would work. Okay.
Yeah, who
So
would have thought that James's stuff would work? Yeah.
yeah.
I see. Wow.
Okay. So now, I mean, we moved a lot of stuff around, right?
Yeah, so now what you could do is you could add a new YouTube service and you could call it
Functions YouTube service.
Yeah, sure.
So in a way, it does make me feel like I kind of want to have like a YouTube show service in the web app also. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because this will now just query the function.
Yeah, so this is nice, but it would be nice if the web app could be could run without functions also. But
Oh.
you know what I mean?
It does. Kind of. But yeah, no, it doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
It could. You could just get that file. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
And then you could implement I YouTube server.
Yep. Yeah. Okay, so you're saying in here.
Yeah.
Show service?
What do we call it? Yeah, look at that.
All right, so now we need to do and I honestly, I mix these up. There's explicitly and there's implement interface.
Those two.
I always kind of forget and then I have to think about it. All right, so wonderful. Okay, so
I see. That one just adds it as an interface there. I don't think it matters.
yeah. Oh, right.
Hmm.
I kind of don't like it. I mean, I'm just saying.
Dude, I'd do the normal.
Okay, wonderful. Do we need, I don't think we need anything in the constructor.
I mean, ideally you would take in an HTTP client. You know what I mean? But
Right.
maybe skip it for now if you're going to get cocky
Yeah.
in the next 5 minutes.
Right. Okay, so now this needs to call into the oh, right, we do need that HTTP client, right?
Yeah, just new up a new one. That's what I said. Oh, John's so upset at me. Ah, all right, do it. Live your life. John.
Okay, so this would take HTTP client.
Factory. I think you can just pass it an HTTP client. I don't even know if you need to pass it the factory.
Right, so that's what I'm saying.
I think you can get rid of the I on it. Just an HTTP. The new version of that, does it for you automatically.
Yep. So then I can say this dot client or whatever.
Bill is really enjoying this. People are enjoying this so far. I'm enjoying it too.
Oh, it's interesting. It's kind of fun moving stuff around here.
You need to create that though. Oh, underscore. Don't put an underscore in there. Don't do that.
Well, how do you like to call them?
Oh, just normal. There you go. Perfect.
All right.
I don't need no underscore.
Well, so now I can say that, and I can say that, and I can say generate.
Look at you.
Right?
That's it.
Wonderful. So now we can say, oh boy. You know, when I don't want to think about stuff, I use var. So I say var shows equals HTTP client dot get shows, or
Get string async.
sure. And you know, this would be a good refactor later, is we should actually be using a specific HTTP client. We should use HTTP client factory and stuff.
Which we
So,
are, yeah. Well, when you
so,
use HTTP client factory, it'll pipe it in automatically for you, but we should use a specific one.
all right, so now it's saying that, it's saying show potential fixes, async.
And you got to pass in that URL.
Yeah, so, and that URL is, we'll need to get this via configuration later. So we should take in configuration here also, right?
Nope. That I can.
Should be.
Yeah, there it is.
See, now I just did it on the wrong thing.
Got to know where to click.
Yeah. All right, and then we need to do the same thing. This dot config equals, boom. And now we need to do this. Generate me a field, cool. I do love that. And then I can say config dot get connection string, get.
I think it's dot. I can look really. It is dot.
Oh, I can do that.
Oh yeah, you
New
just
bracket.
Yeah. Function API, function URL, function get shows URL.
Wonderful. Okay, so now this can go. We have a call like in a few minutes, don't we?
8 minutes.
Yeah, all right. I guess that's so this is our service, and then so we just do return, right?
Well, that's the string, so you got to deserialize it though.
Yeah.
Return Newton song. Enumerable show.
Oh, of type, yeah.
Show. Boom.
Cool, cool. All right, need some error handling and stuff like that, but whatever. Right. So now the one thing I need to do is I need to go over and set that setting
in your normal app setting too.
Oh yeah, so that's actually good. But I may need secrets to happen. I don't know.
No, I think you do in the normal.
Well, I think so because I still have my YouTube key in there.
You can delete that now.
Yeah.
I don't even need those.
You're right. So you can unsecret me now if you want.
Delete that file. Delete all that stuff.
Well, yeah, although I still now I do want to have that function URL, right?
Yeah, but you can put that in the normal app stuff.
Right, right. I still have mixed feelings about this. I do like the feeling of being able to run the app as sure. I'm just going to save that. I do like being able to run the app using using a web app. Like functions is an add-on, but it's not totally required.
Well, right? The nice thing about the functions is that if you have it as a web app where I guess you could use ASP.NET caching layer, and then you could cache stuff. You could make it so it was an ASP.NET Core web API that gets it, right? And then that calls to get it back. and then you would cache everything, right?
Yep.
That would be one option.
So this is going to be an HTTP. This is going to be whatever's in my browser here, right? And there's get shows, and we never need to call update shows. That's also a question mark.
Nope. That would
Oh,
be
because we'll be doing that in our thing.
yeah, from a logic app probably.
Okay.
On next week.
Right. Boom.
Cool.
Save it out.
Now
Okay.
run your functions without debugging, so it's running locally.
Okay. So nothing's running. So not debugging.
Yeah, do it from debug window up top.
That always bugs me. I go to
why is
debug,
it not there?
not debugging.
Yeah, I know. All right, cool. So now that'll be running. So now
I need to go to get shows, right? Or update shows. Is it saving it out?
yeah, it's on your disk.
Okay, so we don't need to do anything there then. Now I can go into my site itself and I can run that as debug.
I think you need to change your interface though.
Yep.
Mock YouTube.
Okay, so this should instead be functions.
That didn't get.
It does not like that. So
Bam. Now.
This is crazy. What are the odds here?
Last 4 minutes. Does it work?
Wings a 3-pointer. At the if I can find out debug run locally, there it is. There were build errors.
Oh my god. Oh, you're missing a few more names.
And
So
it's
close.
like,
bring them in for me. You know,
that's all
you
the
know
time.
what to do.
I
You
know
know what to do, Visual Studio. Bring that in.
It's like, I notice you're trying to build a web app. It looks like you're trying to build a web app.
Also, Janice Q is saying .NET Core 2.2 is now GA for V2 of function, so we could update it technically. That's cool. Oh no, what happened?
Not super happy about that. Unable to resolve HTTP client.
We didn't add HTTP client factory.
Yeah. So I actually need to register HTTP. So I always forget this for some reason. I need to register an HTTP client factory, correct?
Yes.
So services dot add, I forget. Add singleton.
No.
Do I read it?
No. Hold on. I got it. Not that. You're close. I think it's add HTTP client. There it is.
Client.
Yep. That's it.
All right. For some reason, and I think the API on this changed as they were developing it, and I have like bad information stuck in my head, and I always write the wrong thing. I tell you, this is something that like is just a part of being a, like a working at Microsoft on like pre-release stuff. Oh, I still haven't.
So the resolve HTTP client. I guess we could pass it an HTTP client factory and then get the client from it.
Yeah,
maybe that's what we need to do.
28 here. Let me see if I can see this real quick. ASP.NET Core HTTP client factory.
I've done this before. I have this in.
I know, I have too, but there's good docs on this. If I could find them.
So what I do is in my startup, I do add HTTP client.
Oh, yeah. Did it move from startup to?
It's in services.
Add HTTP client. And then here, HTTP client factory.
Yeah, maybe we need to do the. Yeah, maybe we need the iHTTP client factory.
Yeah.
Try that.
All right.
Oh my goodness. That could be it. I'm not sure why I did that, but
so in our functions YouTube service factory, do we do iHTTP client factory? And I'm just going to cheat and do that for now.
I don't even know if you need to undo that, right? Watch this. And then just do there when you assign it, do .get HTTP client.
Ah.
Yeah, that's the best practice. HTTP client dot get create client. Boom. Yeah. That should work.
Okie doke. Let's see about this.
Fingers crossed.
All right. So, debug. I'm losing all my valuable time to trying to find debug.
Crazy. Got this. Do it. Do it. No!
What? Okay. So
and real data. Real data.
Real data. This is running against real data. So cool. So this is the show we did yesterday. This is one coming up next. This is real live data. I think we actually, this is a banner moment. This was a pretty solid achievement here for hour and a half, 2 hours.
We did it.
Wonderful.
Nothing is impossible.
Okay. And we're late for our other call we're supposed to be on.
All right. Yeah. Thanks, everyone. Don't forget, this is ridiculous. We'll check in this code. We'll get rid of the client secrets. All right. We got to go. We actually have a meeting we're both late for because we're on the same meeting. We're like, thanks, everyone, for all the follows. InstaFluff, thank you so much for all the great raids and everyone that rated, everyone that followed. I stream Fridays, all Xamarin goodness. And then John and I have been building this website. We're going to start building a mobile app now. I can't believe this worked. We'll check in the code at some point. John, thank you so much. I will literally see you in like 1 minute on this call.
Yeah.
So thanks, everyone. Don't forget to follow, subscribe if you want to. You don't have to. Just follow. You'll get the alerts, all the good things. Thanks, everyone, for hanging out. Cheers.